This is the very beautiful Ranunculus flower. It's got this beautiful deep sunken centre that gradually comes out into masses of petals. And as I'm piping this one, I like to open the flower up as I'm coming round, so it's quite flat to the cupcake. There's not an awful lot of buttercream used here. It's because you're opening it up, you're giving the illusion of lots and lots and lots of petals. You're keeping it quite small. So you want to crumb coat your cupcake in the colour that you're going to finish off with. And then the piping tips I'm using, I've got a Gem 121 in here. It's this crescent shaped tip with the fat end and a thin end, and I've just popped that into a piping bag. And for the rest of the petals, I'm using a 124K. It's this long, thin piping tip. You've got a long end at the bottom, and this shorter end at the top is going to be like the thin end of your petals. So you always want to make sure that that long end is at the bottom when you're piping. Now I've loaded up another piping bag here with some Pro Gel Olive Green. You only need a little bit, and I've snipped an amount off the end of the bag here. So take up your 121 piping tip in that bag and turn the bag inside out and make it nice and neat so that you can see right down into that piping tip. Now squeeze this buttercream down to the edge of the bag and pop that in the centre of the piping tip. You need to squeeze the buttercream to the bottom of that bag, otherwise it can poke through the end of the piping tip. So make sure there's not too much in your bag and that your bag is nice and tight and that you've got the fat end of the tip at the bottom. You want this thin end at the top, so we're going to curve round and make a ball shape with this piping tip in the centre. So take up your cupcake and go right for the very centre. We're going to make a little splodge. So come straight down, find the middle of the cupcake, and just make a little splodge of buttercream in the middle there. You want to take some time and make sure that you've got this in the middle of your cupcake, because we're going to work around it. So mine doesn't quite look in the middle. I'm just going to move it about until I'm happy where it is. Okay, and now I'm going to pipe over the blob with small strokes like you're doing a peony bud. So very, very short strokes around that centre blob, just building up the layers. Remember to turn your cupcake. Knock that bit in. So you've just got this really, really small centre that you're going to build up around. Now I'm going to take this piping tip out of the bag now, but you need to make sure it's really, really clean before you do that, so you don't get any buttercream at all on the inside of that piping bag. So wipe the tip off on your piece of paper towel, and then I'm going to just unravel the piping bags, reach inside. Oh, still a bit twisted. And then just pull that bag out and the tip will come with it. And you can pull that off the end of the bag now. And now into that same bag, you can load up your 124K. Make sure it's clear of the end of the bag. And that's ready to go. Now in this bowl I've got a little bit of green in the bottom here, but I've got some plain buttercream here that I'm going to colour with a little bit of this green. so that I can start to colour grade as I'm coming out. So just add a really, really small amount and give that a good mix. Now, because the summer has finally gone, I'm really happy to say buttercream is really quite firm, which is really, really good for piping this flower. When you're using the fine piping tips, you do want your buttercream on the firmer side. So that's all mixed in, and we've got this lovely light green colour to start building up the flower. Now I want to get rid of this green out of this piping bag, so I'm going to grab a bowl and just squeeze out all of this buttercream. Keep that covered, and you can use it for leaves or anything else you need green for. Never throw any buttercream away. Just make sure you get as much out of the bag as you can. And then when you get to the end, I like to just use a bit of paper towel to make sure I get every last bit off the bottom. And you can open up that bag again. And I'm going to add this light green colour right in there. And then push all that buttercream down to the bottom. Right to the very end. So you're right on the edge of that bit of piping bag that you've snipped off. Now turn this bag inside out so you've got a nice clear view inside your piping tip, and pop that one in. Push it all down to the bottom and make sure your bag is nice and tight, and that you've got the long end of the piping tip on the bottom. So the short end is at the top. That's going to create the top of your petals. Now I'm going to pipe very, very close to this little green mound in the middle, and I'm just going to make really short, straight strokes with the piping tip vertical around this blob. So just pipe a straight line, turn the cake, come in a little bit from the end, pipe another straight line, stop, come off, turn the cake, come in a little bit, pipe a straight line, stop, come off, and keep going round until you've covered that part in the centre. You can see how close I'm piping to that dark centre, and you can see I'm keeping the piping tip vertical, so I'm not hiding that, I'm letting it show. But because the 124K is a longer piping tip than the 121, the petals are higher, so you're making it look like those petals are opening out. So you can see I'm not making arches at all, they're just straight sweeping strokes. So come in a little bit, pipe a straight line, stop, come off, turn the cake. I'm going to keep going around like that until I've done 2 rows. Okay. So now I want to start to add some of the petal colour to the green colour so that I'm gradually building that colour out. So I'm going to take out the centre bag now. So just hold on to the piping tip at the base, inside the bag, and you can reach in and pull out the bag of buttercream. And I'm going to squeeze that out into my bowl. really give it a good push down and make sure you get as much buttercream out as you can. And then when you get to the end, just to make sure you get it all out of the bag, I like to just use a paper towel to really smush it all out. It just keeps things nice and neat that way, and you don't get buttercream all over the place inside the bag. Now I'm going to add some of my main colour to this light green. So I'm using peach here, or apricot. Let's just clean that off a little bit. Grab a little bit of that colour. You don't need very much, just enough to give it that tone inside the green. And then I'm going to mix that in with some of this green here. I won't do all of it because I really want that peach colour to come through, so I'm just doing a small spatula full. And then when that's all mixed in, you can see that's got that nice peach tone and it's lighter, so you're gradually bringing that colour out. I'm going to use the same bag again, so open that up and turn over the top. And then just add that buttercream in. And push that right down to the bottom. Remember, you want it right on the very edge of where you've snipped the end of the bag off. And then turn this bag over and pop that inside the piping tip. And then push it all down to the bottom and make sure the bag is nice and tight. Now there will be a little bit of that green colour left at the end of the piping tip, so I'm just going to squeeze that out before I start piping on my flower again. So we've got our new colour coming through. Make sure you've got the long end of your piping tip at the bottom, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So come in a little bit, pipe a straight line, stop, come off. Turn the cake, come in a little bit, pipe a straight line, stop, come off, turn the cake, and keep going round. I'm going to do 2 layers of these again. Now at this point I am slightly angling the tip outwards a little bit at the top. And the petals are getting longer as I'm going around. And you can see I'm piping really slowly. I'm keeping my squeeze consistent. I'm turning the top of the piping tip out a little bit. And by going slowly like this, you're creating a lovely crisp petal edge. So my buttercream's nice and cold. I'm going nice and slow, and I'm keeping the pressure the same throughout the whole squeeze. And now I'm going to add my main colour into this piping bag. So hold on to the end of the piping tip and pull out that inside bag. And then I'm going to turn over this one and add the peach into this bag. So we're using 4 different colours and only 2 piping bags by using the bag in a bag method. That's why I love to use it. Sometimes you use more piping bags by doing it, but sometimes you can really cut down on the amount of piping bags that you're going to use. It's a really handy method. It keeps your piping tips nice and neat as well. So push all that buttercream down to the bottom, not too much in your bag, and make sure it's nice and tight. And now I'm going to squeeze out that last little bit of green that's in the end of the piping tip. So just until you see your colour coming through. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. But this time I'm going to start to open the flower. So as I'm piping, we'll come round so that the piping tip ends up parallel to the cupcake. I'm not going to turn my wrist in that silly motion. I'm going to turn the cake and keep the piping tip still. So as you turn the cake, you're angling the flower out. So I'm doing my straight lines again, and I'm turning the cake away from me so that I'm looking at where I'm piping. And that long end of the piping tip is going in first. So you're starting to bring out the angle. So I'm holding the cake in such a way that I'm looking down to the base of those petals. So I can really see where I'm putting the piping tip. As I'm filming it, you're watching the top of the flower develop. I can't see that. I'm looking at where I'm piping. So I'm bringing it into the base. Straight line, stop, come off. Turn the cake. Come in a little bit, pipe a straight line and come off. And now I'm starting a little circular motion with my wrist because the petals are getting longer. So to start, I'm bringing it in and coming round with my wrist as I pipe that petal around the cake. So come right into the centre with that long end of the piping tip and bring that petal out and around. Keep your squeeze consistent for the whole petal. Go nice and slowly. And I'm coming to the point now where my piping tip is almost parallel with the cupcake. And I'm just going to keep going round like this until I've covered up the cupcake case. So the last row will only just come up to the edge of the cupcake case, but it will cover it up. And you'll have a nice open looking flower. A couple more around here. Maybe one more. And there you go, that's how I like to pipe a ranunculus.